Welcome back to Nortman Reviews, everyone. I am John Norton, and we are looking at Scott Pilgrim, Volume 2. I looked at Volume 1. Um, I love these books. I think they're so good. The first video did not get as many views as I was hoping. It doesn't get as many views as some of my other books, like usually X-Men. You can see the difference in these two books. So I don't even know, like, there's 6 volumes of these, and I'm going to do all 6, I think. I'm going to spread it out so you're not all, like, 6 videos in a row listening to me blather on about Scott Pilgrim versus the world. But I think they're so good. I think they're so funny. The guy's writing style is so good. If you follow me, you probably follow my brother Robert, and he talks about certain artists on certain books who do their own independent books, like J. Scott Campbell doing Danger Girl, Joe Madureira doing Battle Chasers, Michael Turner doing Fathom, where there's just like it's like almost a perfect book because like the artist just fits that book. He knows what they're doing. They know what they're doing, and like that is just something that they were meant to do. And I feel like this guy Brian Lee O'Malley, like this is his like perfect book. No one else could do this. No one has like the sense of humor. No one has the art style. His art style is simplistic. I talked about this last time. Like I can copy that, I could duplicate it, but I couldn't draw like this out of my head. This is definitely a style that he has, and it was adopted by Japanese comics, manga comics, and all that. And I'm going to try and tell the basic story and point out like the funny things, the things they did right, the things that they adapted for the movies, the things that they left out. But I'm not going to go through every single page and like in detail because that would just be a long video. Because I mean, look how thick this book is. So we're going to kind of go through it fast. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. The first book was adapted really well into the movie, the Michael Cera movie, and the first episode of the Netflix series. Like, almost like word for word, beat for beat. As the volumes go on, especially, the Netflix series went off into its own thing completely. But the movie who was adapting all the first 6 books into one movie, which is impossible to put all the stuff in one movie, it really took liberties, especially as it got going, and cut out so much that I wish they could have put in there, taken more time. So, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. This is kind of cool. Trademark. So, with these black borders, you know that this is like either a flashback or in a dream, but this is a flashback. Scott Pilgrim, transfer student, 16 years old, so he's younger. He's 20-something now. And there are these jocks, these bullies, and they want to fight him, so he's getting ready to fight. Like, that was a thing that just showed up in the last issue, in the first book, where people just, like, fucking have karate fights and crazy video game style fights out of nowhere. Yeah, 7 years ago. So he's 23, yeah. I mean, 16 here, 23 in current timeline. So he's ready to fight these guys. And chapter 6, the new kid. So he gets sent to the principal's office. He meets this girl, Lisa. And, what are you in for? I got in a fight. An awesome fight. Did you win? Not really. At least you're honest. So he becomes friend with this girl, Lisa. And she just kind of forces it on him, which is kind of funny. He's like, we should be friends. Like, yeah? So he's, it doesn't always say like the next day or something, but you understand like they're in the principal's office. Now they're in a basement of some kind. And I like the shadow on here. You can tell like all the lights are off, but like the light coming from like the TV is like the only thing going on. Like those of us who played video games, we've all been there. And like, they're like, Scott, what? You got a visitor? And it's this girl, Lisa. She just like showed up. And he's a new kid. He's like, I don't even know anyone in this town. What are you doing in my house? And it says not actually looking. He's just concentration is on the video game. So this girl comes in and she's just forcing him to like be friends with her. And she's like, are you playing video games? Do you have any lemonade? Yes. And no, we only have iced tea. And she's like, okay, I'll go ask your brother where the glasses are. What's his name? And he's like, his name's Lawrence. Who are you? So then they're at class. And she's still talking. He's eating. No, they're in lunch. Hates being bothered when eating. Have you ever bought these Mexican fries? Isn't that like racist or something? My mom packs my lunch. That's kind of funny. So then he gets off the bus and she's kind of sad. She's like, do you hate me? You know, she's trying to be friends and he's just kind of like blowing her off, but he's not. They're friendly. Lunch, like dinner time at Scott's family, and his parents are asking, who's this girl? And she's like, it's his girlfriend. No, not my girlfriend. Just kind of family stuff. And then they're hanging out in like it could be a parking lot of a store or something like that. And they start talking about like they want to start a band or something. Well, yeah, whatever. But then he meets this other girl. He gets paired up with this girl in class. And this is Kim Pine. She's one of his friends in current day. And they get teamed up on a project, and she's like, it's some partner thing. You'll probably slack off, and I'll end up doing all the work. It's like, oh, nice to meet you. So yeah, they're trying to start a band here, and she's telling him, I'm a goth, and you know how I'm not a goth and you're not a jock? And he's like, I'm such a jock. That's funny. So they're looking for a drummer. And then back with Kim, and they're working on this project. And she's telling him he sucks at drawing. He's like, yeah, maps are hard, but I could draw really good if it was a sheep. She's like, well, draw me a sheep. So he scribbles in this fucking sheep right there. And he's like, do sheep have curly tails or is that pigs? And then she asks if like, are you going out with that Lisa girl? Then they're in an auditorium and they see Kim that she plays drums. So they're like, oh my gosh, we should get her in our band. Now Kim, she's actually starting to like Scott a little bit. And Kim introduces him to one of her friends. She's like, okay, hi. And then Scott's talking to Lisa, and he's actually tells her that he likes Kim. He's starting to like her. And they have this presentation on Monday. So then here comes Monday. The girls come back. This is when it gets fucking weird and crazy again, right? The Benvie Tech boys, they came and beat everyone up. Like everyone's just like passed out and beat up. He's like, oh, what a great day to miss the bus. And they kidnapped Kim. And he's like, our presentation. Because today was their presentation. So he goes through and he's fighting all these Benvie boys turf. He goes to their high school. Like gets his way past him, finds their final boss. I've defeated all your evil bosses. You're the final boss. You're finished. Kim's back here. This sucks. This is the best St. Joel's could muster. That's not what your mom said last night. So they have a fight. Lightning, choking and fighting in the rain. And Scott prevails and he kicks him. He goes flying out there. And he saves Kim. I don't know who'd rescue me from that maniac, but I secretly hoped it would be you. I like you, Kim. We should be dating. Also, do you want to play drums in our band? Yes, Scott. Oh, yes. So then, like, they're dating. Like, these four are hanging out. They're playing video games together. They start a band. Things are going good. They name their band Sonic and Knuckles. The relationship's going good with Kim. They talked about in the first one how Scott and Kim used to date. They're getting it on the back of a car, but still with the band. But then it just kind of like it cuts, and she's like, "You're moving to Toronto." They're living somewhere else, and so he has to leave, and she's sad. And that was their breakup. They didn't really like break up because they wanted to. They just whatever. Now we're back in modern times, but now it's the dream, and Ramona's here, and she likes to come through his dreams in this weird way. She's making fun of him about dreaming about playing video games. So then Chapter 7, Dating a High Schooler Part 2. So let's see. Scott Pilgrim, hero of this book, 23 years old. Fun fact, he was also the hero of Scott Pilgrim Volume 1. Here's Wallace, erstwhile roommate of Hero, 25 years old. Fun fact, he is gay. I love the fun facts. I think I stole that little gimmick for a comic I had done. Then they're talking about stuff, about his girlfriend, about how they had met. And that Wallace is telling Scott, like, hey, if you're dating this girl Ramona, you have to break up with Knives, the 17-year-old high schooler. And he's like, but it's hard. That fucking like little childlike thing, like, it's hard to do. And he's like, if you don't do it, I'm going to tell Ramona about Knives the second she walks through the door. It's like, but you're double standards. And now this is a funny thing. So he's yelling at Wallace, who gets off the bus, right? He's like, oh, and I'm having a friend over tonight, so don't come home. But wait, what? We are home. This is our stuff. So he tells him, like, don't come in. I'm going to get busy with someone. So the bus is driving away, and Scott is just yelling at Wallace. And, like, there's these tiny panels. He's like, you suck, surprising no one. If bad was a boot, you'd fit in it. And then it goes up here. You're a stupid poo-poo head. And even smaller. I had sexual relations with your mother. Your mother was not that good in bed. He's still just yelling in like these, like the drawings of the bus. I just think are funny. You, sir, are a wretched soul. I am rubber. You are glue. He's just, the bus is going away. And I just love that he draws these tiny, tiny panels, and the font gets tinier and tinier. You have to really hold it up close. It's hard even for me to see it. Funny stuff. So Scott wants to break up with Knives, so he calls her, and she's like suddenly right there, which is creeping him out. So like she's obsessed and stalking him. So they're at a record store. They look at this band Clash at Demon Head. That's the band that shows up later. That's Scott's ex-girlfriend who broke his heart. And so Knives is like, I want you to invite you over and meet my parents. And he's like, I don't know if that's a good idea. Like, why are we doing this? Why do you like me? And she's like, I'm in love. And it like comes out and hits him. That's funny. But then he breaks up with her right here, which is sad. She's sad, and she's like, really? Like, it's just not going to work out. It's never fun to break up with somebody, even when it's like the right thing to do. You don't ever want to break somebody's heart, right? So he leaves, and I kind of like this this transition. He's feeling bad. He's thinking about her. He's frustrated. He just feels bad about himself. But then he's thinking, and he's just kind of remembering, this image of Ramona, like the girl he's actually in love with, who likes him, who's probably way better for him. They're same age. And he's just like more content and happy, and like he's done the right thing, and his life is going in a better way. So then there's this band that just says, like, the drummer, the talent, the roommate, their ages. He tells them that he broke up with Knives, but you'll meet my new girlfriend soon. And he's like, check it out. I learned the bass line from Final Fantasy II. He plays it. And they're just like giving him shit. You're a salt, you're a scum of the earth. And so it goes over, and like he has Ramona come over for a date at the house. So now he's kicking out Wallace. And Scott made all this food, and he's not letting him have any of it. And like ding dong, he's like, she's here. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. He's like kind of freaking out. So there he is, kind of cool drawing of her. Ramona Flowers, American Ninja Delivery Girl, age unknown, everything unknown, fun fact unknown, funny stuff. So they see each other again, and so he kicks out Wallace. And she cut her hair. He notices. She's like, do you like it? It's got two colors. She's like, yeah, but do you like it? And he looks at Wallace, and he basically tells him what to say. It's lovely. It's thoroughly hip. Yeah. She's like, rolls her eyes. So she sits down, takes off her boots here. And she's like, do I get a tour of the apartment? Like, yeah, sure. He's like, because they live in like a small studio. So giving her a tour, he's like, this is the living room. There's the bed. You've already seen the chair. Wait, this is the only room? No. There's the bathroom, of course. I see. And then he tells her about the food, and she's like, oh my God, you fucking cooked? Yeah, I cooked a little. She's like, I thought the apron was just for show. So she's happy, like the food is good. She wishes he had a table. Like, I can't believe you made a loaf of garlic bread. And he's talking about, and I had the same sentiment. Like, I love garlic bread, right? And I think when I read this, what he realizes here, I kind of was realizing at the same time. He's like, yeah, garlic bread is my favorite food. I can honestly eat it for every meal or just all the time without even stopping. You get fat. No, you totally get fat. Why would I get fat? Bread makes you fat. Butter makes you fat. Bread makes you fat? Like, I didn't know when I was like younger. You always think like, yeah, bread's a part of a food group. It's not greasy burger or sugary candy. But yeah, there's shit in it. Bread makes you fat, full of carbs. And the realization when you get older sucks. So they're making out. I don't know if they're having sex. They're getting it on. Mentioned something about how it was long hair, and he freaks out because he needs a haircut. And last time he got a haircut, he broke up with his girlfriend broke up with him, and he has this like PTSD about it. So another weird dream. It all kind of like comes together, like some of these weird things, and these characters like all tie into each other later. But then chapter 8, the late Scott Pilgrim. Here's Kim in current days, and kind of showing some of her life. And she has these roommates, Sarah's underwear, Tracy's underwear, Emily's underwear on the bathroom floor. She's getting ready, and she puts on her shoe, and just the sound of the shoe putting on, this girl freaks out on her, making all this noise. And so you can see like she's just in a roommate situation that she doesn't like. So she goes to work, no account video. That's kind of funny. Has this friend, Holly. And they're just kind of talking. Kim is just kind of a moody person, doesn't like anybody. Yeah, they're just talking more about that. Scott comes in, and he wants to rent some videos. And they're kind of talking about like how he has a lot of late fees, with actual video stores back in the day, get late fees. He has like $1,000 late fees, and it says here on the no account video, notes: returned Land Before Time 4 36 weeks late. He claims that mice hid the video somewhere in his apartment. Also claims he rented it as a joke. Do not let him rent anything. He is scum. That's funny. But he wants to rent some videos from this guy, Lucas Lee, who is the second evil ex-boyfriend that he has to fight to win Ramona's heart, which was established in the first book. And Lucas Lee is an action hero, so he's trying to do some research. And then they're talking about Wallace, and she's asking, like, how'd you end up living with that guy? I'd rather not talk about it. Is it a really gay story? The story is somewhat gay, yes. That's fine. And then she's like, how is Lucas Lee evil? He's like, well, Wallace told me. He's like, you have no idea? Oh, yeah, he's evil because he's a sellout. Or he sold out because he's evil. I forget. So that's funny. Ramona, she's doing some stuff. Skatey, skate, skate. Sound effects. She meets her and Scott's sister meet up again. He feels this like weird rumbling somewhere. Ominous feeling. They're going through, they're looking up Lucas Lee. See, all this stuff was not in the movie, right? All this stuff was bypassed really fast. And he's training Scott, and he's telling him to do push-ups. So he's pushing up, he's all pissed off about it. They're still in the band. They're talking about Clash of Demon Head, and they're coming. So that's kind of a big deal. They all used to be a band, Scott and Steven and this girl. They also used to be in a band, but now this girl broke up with Scott, got her own band, and she's like a big deal now. So Steven's like, that's kind of cool. Scott and Ramona are hanging out, and Scott says like he wrote a song about her. He's like, oh yeah? He's like, yeah, it goes, Ramona, 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 Ramona. Then there's this breakdown, which is kind of like, da 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 da. And then the second verse goes, Ramona, wicked Ramona, Ramona, ooh, Ramona. It's kind of an epic. Can't wait to hear it. Wallace, he gets a call, and it's Knives, and she wants to talk to Scott. And he's like, he's not here, but she's right at the door, and that's, again, creepy. He's like, you have to go. More Ramona and Scott, like, hanging out, watching the Lucas Lee movies. Her head is glowing for some weird reason. Some of the stuff in the background with the movie is kind of funny. Yeah. And he's just into her. Like, they're just, like, looking at... He's just staring at her. It's like, you're cool. I like you. She's like, turn the movie off so we can get it on. So then the next morning, he gets a call, and it's his parents, and they're just giving him... Doing funny parent stuff. They're talking about other stuff. Again, this doesn't have anything to do, like, important with the storyline, but it's just, like, funny dialogue. I really recommend you guys, like, get this book and read all this stuff. So he's taking her to meet the rest of his friends, and he's like, they're stupid. I hate them, and you will too. She's kind of blowing it off. So they meet. Kim and Ramona meet. Ramona meets Steven and young Neil. And this is funny. So, like, they're going to make their own food, and they break the fourth wall. Hey kids, now you can cook along home and impress your vegan relatives. If you're under 23, ask a grown-up to help out. So it gives, this is actual, like, they tell you how to, like, make this meal. They give you all the ingredients here. Is this a collaborative meal type thing? Chopping vegetables keeps us out of trouble with the law. So he starts giving all the steps. 1, cut the potatoes, blah, blah, blah. 2, cut up the onions, carrots. Use a food processor. Invite your friends and make them do all the work. 3, boil the potatoes. 4, cook the stuff. Blah, blah, blah. You can add some red wine. It's an option. It makes everything awesome. Your other option is to drink the red wine, which works too. 5, add the fake meat stuff, add the gravy, add the soy milk, and stir everything up. Mash the potatoes, make everything mushy, make the layers. You can serve it as is or bake it in the oven to crisp up. A salad on the side would be health conscious, but we only have so much energy for this. That's funny. It's good. I feel like there's a joke that I'm missing. Oh, yeah. She asked her, how did you two meet? It's kind of complex. And he's like, yeah, read the book sometime. Like, read the first volume. And Knives, she's kind of like dealing with the breakup. She goes to she wants to, like, change her hair color. She's talking with her friends, bitching about Scott, bitching about his new girlfriend, probably calling her fat. Just, and she changes her hair color. And then, yeah, still more, like, relationship stuff going on between them. She's talking about where he lives and how it kind of sucks. They got a kitty too. It's purring. Russie, he left. He only came and visited me during one video. I don't know where he is now. So she makes a list of everything that sucks about it. Only one room, only one bed, and it's shared with a gay man. No light. There's light. She, like, rolls her eyes. No, crosses out no light. No natural light. Not girl-friendly. What does that mean, not girl-friendly? It means there's a sucky little hole in the ground, Scott. Tell me about Lucas Lee. About your relationship. If she doesn't really remember, like, he wasn't that impressive, like, wasn't that memorable. He asked me out a bunch of times, finally said yes. We sat on curbs and smoked, and he's like, you smoked? You smoked for years? He's kind of freaking out that she was a smoker. So, yeah, just telling the history of her and Lucas and about how they did stuff in school. So then they go to... he's going to his fight. And what's usually all the other volumes, like the big fight, like the book leads up to the fight with the evil ex-boyfriend somewhere in the back. But this fight happens, as you can see, almost in the middle. So there's the evil ex-boyfriend, Lucas Lee. This was Chris Evans in the book, who was so funny in that role. But he's a famous actor. Can I help you guys? He's famous and he talked to me. Evil enemy fight, remember? Oh, yeah. And he's like, I'm Scott Pilgrim. He's like, oh, okay. So he flicks his cigarette away and just goes over. Maybe this isn't the best time, but can I? He wants his autograph and he just punches him in the face. Can I have your autograph? And he like spins him around and whips him across into this building. And so he's knocked out and he comes to. Are you okay? I take it we haven't missed much. Let's take a break. He's like helping him up right here. I have a cooler with some Gatorade and baby carrots and Ritz. That sounds so good. So he's like helping him out right here. And they're talking about the movie industry. And asking about embarrassing stories with Ramona. He doesn't have any embarrassing stories. And then he has this whole different idea of what happened. And he's upset with everything. And then he tells about the League of Evil Exes. Yeah, nothing. So, and he says, like, okay, give me all your money and I'll let you live. I'll tell Gideon you beat me up. Like, you really are a sellout. So he's like, all right, kiss her ass goodbye. And so they're about to fight. In the movie, him and Chris Evans had like this big epic fight, but he only gets punched like once or twice here. And suddenly he's like, have you seen those stairs over here? And this is what they did in the movie. He convinces him to do show me a trick, like on the stairs. He's like, oh, that's the 200 steps. The rails are garbage. It's impossible. He's like, impossible? And they look and he just kind of whistles like, okay. So it guilts him into like doing this trick. 34 kph, 41 kph, 56, 57, 61, 134, 309 kph. He's just going faster and faster. Cumulative speed, too fast to live. And he gets to the end and he just fucking explodes. He says, this sucks. It's like, what? Well, you win by default. Yeah, I didn't get his autograph. You're such a tool, Scott. But there's coins here, so he picks up the coins. He's happy with that. How much did he leave? Like $14 or something in coins. What a dick. Yeah, life is hard. It's like with each one, he gets more and more coins. But then this item appears. And it's a mithril skateboard, +4 to speed, +8 to kick, plus 1 to wheel. I can't even use this. Why didn't I pick that skateboard proficiency back in grade 5 and then just disappears? That was the worst fight ever. So, like this big, like, wasn't even a fight. It's so funny. All right. So where are we on next? The Toronto Reference Library gives like, the hours that it's opened. And then it shows Knives. She's up there on the roof. She's still kind of going through a thing. He goes into this coffee store, and it's this girl, Julie, who's played by Aubrey Plaza in the movie. He comes in, not you. He says that almost every time he sees her. So he's looking for his sister who also works here, but they left. And she's mad that he asked out Ramona. She told him not to in the first book. And then she's just giving him shit, but he's not listening. La, 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 and he runs out. Funny stuff. Read the book. And then they're in the library. Ramona and Stacy, they're checking out something. Oh, she's delivering something. Stacy's with her. I like this. So he's out here. He's playing video games again. The phone rings, and you just see this word, pause. So he pauses video game. He answers it, and then it's Steven on the other side. So, oh, it's you. So they're talking, and he unpauses the game. So he's talking on the phone, but he's still playing the game. And you just see like the pew, pew, pew. I adopted these things for a 24-hour comic book moment that I did once. Very inspired by it. So they're chit-chatting about what? I don't know. Go read the book sometime. Good stuff. Good stuff. And then Ramona at the library, and she's confronted by Knives Chow. And they start to fight. Ramona snaps off this railing right here. She's like, "Are you crazy? You can't just go around like breaking architecture." So they're fighting. And Ramona doesn't even know who she is. Like, did Gideon send you? You're a dead fatty. Fighting, who are you? And then Knives remembers where she saw her. Like when Scott and her, they saw her in the last book, but to Knives, she looks fucking evil. She has this revelation that she thinks Scott was cheating on her. Ramona has no idea what's going on. I'm Knives Chow and I'm a Scottaholic. She yells, "Chow down!" because her last name is Chow. Did he seriously just say that? It's a cool fight. She keeps calling her fat because she's just like probably a tiny girl. Swings, ducks, tackles. She got cut right there. And Stacy's trying to call Scott, but the line is busy. Who doesn't have call waiting? Like, it's just so funny. Like, you can see how this was dated. Like, cell phones weren't such a big thing. But on the other line is Scott talking to Wallace. He's trying to get the cheat code for Sonic 3 while he's working. He's like, "Please stop calling me." "No, stay on the line. Maybe it'll come to you." He wants the cheat code to Sonic 3. More fighting. Hits her with a plant. Jumps down. Doesn't, the skirt flies up. It doesn't see any of her bits. Chasing after her, but like Knives like bounce up on this library. Throws a knife with a note on it. Says, "You're ugly and I hate you, Knives Chow." So she has no idea who Knives is, and she's like, "What kind of idiot would knowingly date a girl named Knives?" Scott, still playing video games, pauses the game when the phone rings, and this voice, "Hi, Scott." It freaks out. And it's me, it's Envy Adams. That's the girl from the, and there's this picture. I don't know where this picture is. I don't know. But she calls him, and it just kind of like throws his world into turmoil. I had dated somebody who kind of, like, years and years and years ago, and for a long time, like, I kind of felt like this. Like, anytime I got a text, even afterwards, like, it just kind of like messed with me for a little bit. So I kind of like totally related to this. So she's calling, and she wants to like have their band like open for her, so they want to meet or something like that. But they're chit-chatting about personal stuff, and he tells her that he has a new girlfriend, and she wants to know her name, and she's kind of jealous. "Do you have a girlfriend? Should I be jealous?" Yeah. And she is jealous. "You're jealous? I'm allowed. You left me for that cocky pretty boy." And she says, "Well, maybe you'll see him soon." Yeah. So she wants him. She wants him to get his band to open up. So she's like, "Why don't we meet so we can discuss it more?" Wallace comes home, sees Scott like just fucking in a mess. He's like, "What's wrong with you? Are you food poisoning?" And he basically says it's envy. Envy called, and he knows the relationship and what it means to him. And he's like, "Shit." Chapter 11, things keep happening. Then he's on the phone with his sister, and they're talking about something, and he spills his hot chocolate on him when he screams. That's funny. That happened in the movie. And he tells them about Envy wanting them to play a show. Steven's like, "That's great. That's exposure, with a real band." So Friday night, they're talking. Oh God, they're more relationship stuff. Scott's telling her about Envy. And it's funny. He said, she wanted to move to Montreal because she missed her best friend, this guy Todd or something. And 2 weeks later, they heard they were sleeping together. Like, basically. And she says, I dated a Todd once. Great story. Maybe it was the same guy. So, I don't know. More chit-chatting about, I don't know what this stuff is. I can't remember. So they go to this this place where Envy is playing, this bar, auditorium thing, or venue. And then Knives there, she's dating the young Neil, like the younger brother of Steven, just so she can kind of remain in the group. More stuff. I don't know why he thinks this. Are we an item? I'm sorry, why he was thinking about like the mushroom star and flower from Mario for some reason. This is funny. So like they always have like these little things of like introducing like the characters, like Sarah, Kim's roommate, age, who cares? And then this girl just says, I don't know this girl. That's funny to me. Like, who is talking? Like, I don't know this girl. Oh god, more talking. This girl is part of Envy's band. She smokes, so she's evil. Pretty hot though, totally. These are just two random guys looking at her. And it's towards the end, and then it was time, and like the lights go out. Everyone's watching everything, and this is Envy Adams, who was played by Brie Larson. And I actually really like this song that they play in the movie. She comes out, she's wearing this big coat. There's this guy, Todd, with the bass, and there's the drummer. And she throws her coat off. Big, cool shot of the band, all dramatic. And they start playing, and it's like, so that's her, and she says, I figured, but like they have to yell at each other because they're trying to hear each other over the music. It's like, but what? That guy on the bass, Todd? He really is the same Todd I dated. This guy. That's my third evil ex-boyfriend. So that's where it ends. It just shows who the next evil ex that he has to fight. And this was, the guy who played Superman. Why can't I remember his name? It'll come to me on the next book. So, next one, Scott Pilgrim and the Infinite Sadness. So there it is. Again, I had to kind of go through the book. I try to like point out like the funny parts. I can't recommend these books enough. Once you really get into these books and read them and read all the details and the conversations, the storyline, you get engrossed in them. So they're really funny, really good writing. I can't recommend them enough. So thank you for watching. Long video, but so if you've listened this far, please leave a like. Tell me what you think about Scott Pilgrim. Are you a fan of this? If you're not, why not? Thank you for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video.